When joy returns to grief. A transmission by starling grief can make you believe you are moving backward. Yesterday you laughed. This morning you made coffee. You answered a message. You noticed the sunlight coming through the window. Maybe an entire afternoon passed before you realized you hadn't cried. And you thought, maybe I'm beginning to heal. Then something happens. A photograph, a song, an empty chair, a memory you weren't expecting. Sometimes nothing you can name at all. And suddenly the grief comes rushing back. You find yourself crying as though no time has passed, wondering how something that felt almost bearable yesterday can hurt this much again today. And somewhere inside, a quiet question begins. Am I going backward? No. A harder day is not a backward day. It only means grief found a tender place today. Grief does not travel in a straight line. It moves more like water than a road. It comes in waves. Some barely reach your feet. Some knock you down. And sometimes the water becomes so still that you begin to wonder whether the storm has finally passed, only to discover another wave was forming somewhere beyond where you could see. But you did not move backward when the wave returned. You were simply standing where it reached you. The return of grief does not mean the absence of healing. There may also come a moment when you laugh, perhaps unexpectedly, and for one small moment you forget that you are grieving. Then you remember. And sometimes what arrives next is guilt, as though your laughter betrayed the one you loved, as though enjoying an afternoon means you are leaving them behind, as though pain were the price you must continue paying to prove that the love was real. But pain was never the proof of your love. The love was. You do not have to remain in pain to remain in love. Sometimes we hold tightly to pain because it feels like one of the last things connecting us to what we have lost. If the ache becomes quieter, if an afternoon passes without crying, if laughter returns, if one day you realize you have genuinely had a beautiful day, something inside may whisper, am I leaving them behind? No, you aren't leaving love behind. You are discovering that love can travel with you without always arriving as pain. Joy does not betray sorrow, and sorrow does not have to disappear before joy can return. There is room for both. There will be days when laughter sits beside sorrow. There may be days when sorrow needs the whole damn couch. There may be days when you want someone beside you, and days when you need the whole world to leave you alone. Days when you need to talk. Days when there are no words. Days when you cry. Days when you cannot. Days when you feel strong enough to carry what happened. And days when carrying the next 10 minutes feels like enough. All of this is okay. There is no correct performance of grief. You do not have to grieve beautifully. You do not have to make meaning from it. You do not have to demonstrate how well you are healing. You do not have to turn loss into wisdom before you can simply miss what is gone. Whatever today is, it is okay to meet yourself there. At first, grief may seem to occupy every room. It sits at the kitchen table. It waits in the hallway. It follows you into the bedroom. It stands beside you when you wake. You do not have to throw it out. Grief came because something mattered. It deserves a chair too. But perhaps one day laughter returns to the kitchen. Beauty appears outside the window. Peace spends an afternoon on the porch. Hope quietly moves something back into its old room. And grief is still there. It simply isn't the only thing living there anymore. Perhaps healing begins when we discover that sorrow does not need every room. Not because we stopped grieving, not because we stopped remembering, and certainly not because we stopped loving. We simply began making room for life beside it. Grief is already heavy enough. You do not have to make it heavier by feeling guilty for the moments that aren't. So when joy finds you, it is okay to let it sit down. When beauty catches your attention, it is okay to look. When laughter surprises you, it is okay to laugh. And if tomorrow the tears return, that is okay too. Nothing here is asking you to choose. There is room for both. You do not have to put down what hurts before you can pick up what brings you joy. And you do not have to stop loving what you lost in order to keep living what remains. The heart is large enough. Let sorrow have its chair. Let joy pull one beside it. And for today, let that be enough.